welcome. In this tutorial, we are going to talk about organizing and visualizing variables. For this exercise, we'll be using Excel, so stick around. All right, first thing I'm going to do, I am going to open Excel. So here is a new book from Excel. And let's assume that I am a dealer and I am tracking how many sales I got. So here I'm going to type the total amount of sales, and I want to track how many sales I made in last year. So I'm going to start by typing the month, January, February. And what I do now that I have at least two in here, I can just grab this corner and go all the way till December. Okay, now trying to figure out how many cars I sold in January. So let's say January is usually a slow month because people they spend all of their money in Christmas and they don't have any money. So I sold 25 vehicles. February is a short month, only 28 days, so only sold 37 vehicles. Let's say March started getting better. I sold 42, and April got even better. Let's go with 50. Let's say May dropped down a little bit because people is too busy spending money on Mother's Day and flowers. So it went down to 47 vehicles. But June, the weather started getting nice and people wants to go get new vehicles. So we sold 60 vehicles in June. July got even better with 62. And let's say for August, we got 58 vehicles. August 9 kicked in, and sales were not too good, dropped a little bit. So 58 vehicles in August. And then September, we sold 57. October, let's go with 56 because it's close to 57. And then, what do you say? November, we're going to go with 42. And then December is, it was a little bit busier month, so we go with 51. Okay, so now that I do have the data, I can, let's say I want to summarize it. So I want to do like a 5-point summary of my data. So I'll start by getting my total, and that is easy. I'll type total, gonna equal, and I'm gonna click sum. Oops. And when I do that, Excel is asking me to pick the cells that I want to add. So I'm just gonna go with cell B2 to B13. That's where I have my data. So I highlight those, hit enter, and here is my total number of vehicles that I sold, 597. I want to figure out what my average is. On average, how many vehicles do I sell every month? So I type average, I'm going to type equals, and then I type average, and then Excel is asking me to pick average, so I can just do the tab or I can click on it. And again, I want to average this month right here. This is my data. Now, that is, so on average, I sold 49.75 vehicles every month. Now I want to find out what my range is. So my range is going to be my highest value. So I need to find out with my highest value. So I'm typing here equals. My highest value is 62. That was July. That's when I sold the most vehicles. Minus my lowest vehicle sales, and that looked like it was January because I only sold 35 in January. So I have July minus January data, and that gives me 27. That is my range. So my more or less my lowest month for sales was January. My highest month for sale was July. So I'm going to type equals here, July, and I got that data here. So here I do have a 5 data summary of my data. So 5-point summary. I have my total, I have my average, I have my range, I have my lowest and my highest. All right. Now that I do that, let's say that I actually want to find out how many I sold by categories, right? Not all vehicles are the same. So let's let's assume that I sell SUVs and that I sell minivans, and let's say that I also sell regular cars like sedans and small cars. Um, Gosh, let's figure out some data here. So for SUVs, let's say that in January I sold 8. Let's put some data here. 13. So 8 plus 13 is 21. So I need 14 more to make it 35. Let's go 11 and 9 and 17. That'll make it 37. Yeah. And we have 26 and let's go with 16 to make it 42. We got 27, 17. I need what, 6 more? Yep. And for this one, we're gonna go with 14, 13, and we need 20 more. 25, 23, 12. We're gonna need on this one, let's assume I sold 23 SUVs, 19. So I need what, 20 more? And on this one, let's say I sold 21, 18, and to make it 58, I will need 19 more. And for this one, let's say I sold 9, 28. So I would need what, 20 more? And let's say I sold 14, 17 minivans, and I need 25. Okay, and for November, we are going to assume that I sold 8 SUVs, 7 minivans, and 27 cars to make it 42. And finally, for December, let's assume that I sold 10 SUVs and sold 13 minivans and 30 cars. Okay, no, hold on, that does not add up. This should be 28 to make it 51. Okay, all right. So if I grab this little corner, now I can get my totals, and now I have how many total vehicles I sold by each category for each month. Same thing here, I want to get my average. So I got my average here, and this is how many vehicles I sold here. Now I only need 2 decimals, so I'm gonna cut down that to 2 decimals here. Okay, and that will give me the data that I needed. Okay, now I wanna do summary table. So we are going, let's put that in here. And so we're gonna do merge and sell these cells. Oops. No, what we're gonna do is merge and center. Okay. So here is vehicles sold by category. Okay, and let's see, let's merge these ones too. Okay, and we have 1, 2, 3 categories. And so what do we have? SUVs. We have minivans. And we have cars. Actually, let me move this data here to the left, make it more appealing to the eye. Okay, and so how many SUVs I sold? Let's do this by percentage. So to do this by percentage, I need to figure out how many I sold. So I sold 190 SUVs. So I'm going to type in here, it's going to equals 190 divided by my total of vehicles that I sold, which is 597. And then I multiply that by 100 to get my percentage, and that's it, 31.82. And same thing with minivans. I have equals the number of minivans I sold divided by the total number of vehicles that I sold. I multiply that by 100. And finally, I also want to get the percentage of cars. So 224 divided by 597 times 100. and that gives me my percentages. Again, I want to get rid of all those extra zeros that I don't need, and I just need 2 decimal points. That's plenty. All right, so that is my summary table. Really easy. What I like to do here, I'm gonna put all borders so I can figure out it looks more appealing to the eye. Let's assume that I also want to find out how many vehicles I am setting per quarter. So to do that, let's do that by quarter. Why not? So I type in here is SUVs to get the number of SUVs that I sold, minivans to get the number of minivans that I sold, cars, and I'm gonna put my totals in here. Now over here I'm gonna have Q1. Oh, that's not Q1. This is Q1. I have Q2. And now I can just grab this little corner and drag it down to Q4. And I'm gonna put my totals here too. Okay, so to figure out how many SUVs I sold on Q1, I'm just gonna add equals, and then I'm gonna add the data for Q1 on SUVs. So that will be January, right? Plus February plus March, and that's the number of SUVs that I sold on Q1. On Q2, I am going to start with April plus May plus June, and that's my Q2. For my Q3, I'm going to have July plus August plus September. Okay, and finally Q4 is going to be October plus November plus December. All right, so that is the total of SUVs I sold by quarter, and I am going to get my totals, make sure it matches. So this is going to equals to the sum of this data here, and I do have 190, which is 190, so that matches. Okay, how many minivans I sold on Q1? All I have to do is grab this little corner, and that will fill out my minivans. And if I extend it one more, I also get how many cars I sold. And same thing here, I'm just gonna extend that and fill out the data. Excel will fill out the data for me. Okay, and to make sure I got my data right, I just wanna add my sums in here. Okay, so just grab that little corner and let's make sure it matches. Yes, 183 equals my 183, my total there. Total here 224 equals 224 there. Okay, and now I wanna figure out how many total vehicles I sold on Q1. So this is going to equals to the sum of SUVs plus the minivans plus the car, and that gives me my total vehicles. Total vehicles that I sold on Q1 114, Q2 157, Q3 177, and Q4 149. And let's do one more check, make sure I got all the data right. And 597, which is my grand total here, 597. So just by looking at this data, I can see that Q3 is my best sell. Those are my best sales months. So if I'm thinking about running advertising, hiring people, all of those things, I want to keep in consideration that Q3 is my best month for sales because it's part of the summer when people is willing to buy whatever. But just looking at the data, I do have that. So once again, I highlight all of this, and I am going to do all borders so my data looks a little bit prettier. Okay, so now I wanna do my range. Figure out I wanna order my data from highest to lowest. So I'm gonna type in here month, and I'm gonna type in here my totals. And what I'll do is just gonna grab this. I'm gonna copy it, and I'm gonna paste it here. right, now that I have that, I'm going to highlight all of these, and I am going to go to data. I am going to filter it, and I'm going to click on this one, and I want to do descending. I'm sorry, ascending, right? So here I know that January is my slowest month. This is where I usually struggle with sales, so this will be a good time to offer my employees, vacation time, or because it's a slow month, I don't need that many salespeople. I can see July is usually my busiest month. That's when I sell the most cars. June is pretty good. So again, now I do have my data here in order from smallest to largest. So now let's do some graphs. Let's do some graphs, and let's see. Let's start by doing a bar chart. So let's do a bar chart of how many vehicles I sold by category. So if I do select this data here, and actually I'm going to select all of these, and I'm going to go to insert, and if I see Excel here is going to do some recommendations for me. So let me see what Excel is recommending. See, Excel is recommending I do a bar chart, and they're also recommending a cluster bar or a funnel. So we're going to go with the bar chart. So here is my bar chart. I'm going to put it over here. All right, here is my bar chart. One thing I like to do, I like to add my data labels so people can read it a lot easier. So I do select all my data and then click add data labels, and now I do have my data labels. All right, and that is my bar chart. Really easy. I know the books present the bar charts on horizontal line. I personally do not like it, but let's do one just to um, show you what the book is talking about. So let's do here again. We're going to select this data here, and then we're going to go to insert, and here is my bar chart. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't like it vertical, so I'm not a big fan of that. But again, if you guys want to do this, let me see, this one is how this will look if it was vertical. Let's see if it gives us that option here. No, it's not giving us the option to make it vertical. Let's change chart type. Okay, but anyway, you could do this very horizontal if you want. I personally do not think it looks better if we do it vertical, but it's up to you guys. It's your choice how you think it's going to look better. I'm just going to type in here vehicle sold by category. All right. Now let's do a different chart. Let's see here. Let's do the totals, and we're going to do it. We're going to do a pie chart. So we click in here. Once again, we go to insert, and here are my pie charts, and here is my pie chart. One thing the book warns us about it is getting too fancy, and sometimes you may want to, some people try to do the breakaways on the pie chart, and so you gotta be careful with that. You don't want to make it, because that could actually distort what you're trying to present. So you want to make sure that you don't do that. Let me see here. Something like this. I don't know. It's just getting too fancy, and something simple as this. It could be it. Another chart that is very similar to this is the donut. So is this one right over here. Something simple presents your data, makes it look good. That's all you need. Um, let's see. Let's do another type of chart. Let's do a side by side. Let's say I'm trying to figure out the number of sales per category. So let's pick my categories here: SUV, minivans, cars, pick those, and go to insert. Let's see if this recommend us. Yep, here it is, cluster bar, and this is kind of like a side by side chart, or we can do this the cluster column. That would be a side by side, and there it is. Let's see what else, what other type of data chart we can do. Let's let's try to figure out the number of sales per month. So we're gonna grab this data here, and then we are going to insert. Let's do a scatter plot right here. Okay. All right, and now we can see the number of vehicles that we sold. In this case, the numbers here are the months, and we can see how many vehicles we sold here. And right over here, Excel gives us the choice how we want to do the chart, different options. So you can choose the one that it looks more appealing to you. Again, you don't want to get too fancy, but that is an option here. And finally, let's do, let's see, what else can we do here? Let's pick up all of this data here. And we can do insert and pivot tables, recommended charts. Let's see what is recommended here. Actually, let's do, yes, let's do the tree map. That's something the book talks about it. It's good to do. So here we have, here's our total. As you guys can see, that's a lot bigger than the sales, but you can see like Q1 is usually not a good quarter. You see how much smaller it is that compared to Q2. We already know that Q2 is our best sales month, and we can clearly see it here on the orange. Q4 is not as good because people obviously is too busy with Thanksgiving and Christmas and other holidays. So, Q4 is not our, our one of their best month sales. Now, one thing you notice is the total matches all the 4 quarters because all Connect has all the data for all the quarters. So let's put that over here to get them a little bit out of the way. All right, and that that is in a nutshell how you do a lot of these graphs. How do you do the summary, and how do you do the 5 point how do you do the 5 point summary of data here, which you get your total, your average, your range, your lowest, and your highest. All right, excellent. Let me know if you have any questions.